you contribute in the U.S. Senate? What is your niche in the grand scheme of the Senate?
Well, I think from a policy point of view, maybe I'd mention three things. One, I think I have a good understanding of the Constitution relating back to what we were just talking about. And I think we could use a good deal more of that in the United States Senate. Secondly, I think I have a decent understanding of economics because I've spent a lot of my career as an academic lawyer looking at the relationship between law and policy and economics. And I just think we sometimes enact laws that make absolutely no sense from an economic point of view. And if we understood what impacts they were going to have economically in terms of incentives, what does it lead people to do, what are the unintended consequences. So I think a little more economic perspective would be helpful. And third, and important for the state of Oregon, is I think I have a very good understanding of natural resource issues, water, public lands, timber, and I'm of the view that we have devastated the economy in much of the state of Oregon, even though it's the part where there are a lot fewer people, by not making good and wise use, and environmentally sensitive use of the natural resources in the state.
Okay. Again, playing devil's advocate. I can imagine some of your opponents or Ron Wyden supporters picking out the economics portion of that argument and saying, well, you don't have any private sector experience, or you don't, how can you say that economics would be an expertise of yours? Can you flesh that out a little bit?
Well, in two ways. One, academically, for whatever that's worth, I've studied a lot of economics. I don't have a degree in economics, but I've read a lot of economics and studied it and applied it to particular policy issues. But I do have private sector experience. 13 years as dean of the law school at Lewis and Clark, and many people might look at the role of a dean and think it's purely an academic job, but at least at Lewis and Clark Law School, it's not. It's really like a CEO of a small business. When I was dean, it was a little over $20 million a year business, and we were very autonomous from the college. We used a lot of their backroom functions for accounting, et cetera. But at the end of the day, what we brought in the way of revenues had to be sufficient to pay the expenses. Revenues and expenses had to come out pretty close, which is not something that apparently you have to do in government, but I think government ought to do. And I had to hire and fire people and figure out how you market your product. I mean, a lot of academics don't like to think about what they do as marketing and business and the bottom line. But they're fundamental. And I did that for 13 years with a lot of success, I think.